Hi. Okay, so after that time lapse, you can see the scene has been blocked out, corresponding to the photo. So I actually added a cropped photo. The other photo was quite tall, and I wanted to have more reference with the more like the dimensions in the final shot. So I cropped the photo. I basically blocked out as much as I wanted to. That's going to be the in the scene. Some elements I will detail further. If you saw on the time lapse, elements like this part of a traffic light I detailed by using tools such as chamfer, and I will explain how to use this in this part. But as with many works of art, we want to focus in on certain areas because the eye focuses in on certain areas, and I want to emphasize some of these parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blocked out model of these traffic lights, and I'm also going to take the blocked out model of this fence, which is this, in case you didn't realize, because it's quite simple there. And I'm going to take these to a new scene, and then I'm going to detail them, and then you'll get to know your way around some poly editing tools in 3ds Max. Okay, so what I do is I select these two entities. I'm going to group them in a new scene. Okay, and then I'm going to save this. Save that as plus, so it's 14 max now. Then I make a new scene. While I'm doing this, I'm going to take the show save frame off. And then what we do is we go to import and merge, and we go to the scene, which is in screencasts at the moment in my computer. So it's down here. It's in first one, and then it's in blocking out the scene. So number 14 is the one we just did. And then it's going to ask you all the different elements that want to be merged. And what we're going to do is find the group that says new scene. Only select this, press OK, and now we've got these elements in this new scene. And immediately I'm going to save this scene as detailing. Right. So what I want to do is make a fairly detailed model of this lamppost and this crash barrier thing, whatever we call it, this orange thing. I won't make it really detailed. We can make it really, really detailed if we want, but I won't make it really detailed. And I'm not going to put textures on it because this lesson, I'm not going to go into textures. That's for another lesson. The reason for this is because this artwork that I'm making doesn't need textures. The textures are going to be added in in Autodesk Sketchbook Pro. So the 3D elements are just purely, as they say, 3D elements. So now I can group these models, move this bollard thing to one side, and we're going to concentrate on the lights. You need a sort of vague strategy of modeling when you're going to model something, okay? And what you always should do is model low. Don't model high poly to start with, because you can always you can tessellate or turbo smooth, add the polygons as you go, but always start low. Okay, that's my rule, and it's most other people's rules as well. And another thing about accuracy, you don't need to be amazingly accurate if you're doing an artwork or a visualization or an animation, unless you have a client that wants it exact. If you want to make something, you can make it as you want. But I would suggest one thing is scale and how objects relate to other objects, because some badly modeled things often are very, very out of scale. Okay, so this stupid thing. I always start this plugin by accident. I'll close it on the command. Okay, so that's right. So here's the part with the lights on. And as I say, this is not amazingly detailed model, but it's going to add some detail into the composition. So I'm going to add these length segments here and add 2 here, because what we can see is there's a crease here in the photograph. So before I convert it to the editable poly, I will add these segments. So again, that there, I'm not going to add ones in the middle, but I'm going to have 3 hide segments. Select it, convert to editable poly. I'm going to go to the top view T and scale that like so, so it gives that kind of diamond shape. P for perspective. So it's taking on this kind of form with the diamond edges. Here we see there's a recess. So what I do is I use this tool, loop. Just a very quick primer for those that have very, very little knowledge about editing in polys. We have how to edit. We have vertex edges, borders, polygons, and elements, as I said in the primer. But also up here we have the Graphite modeling tools in 3D Studio Max. These give functions similar to here in the command panel, but there are some more advanced functions. For this lesson, I'm going to mainly concentrate on the command panel. If I use something in here, then I will mention it. Okay. But firstly, to continue, we zoom in, we take it to edge selection, select this edge, loop, so it will go round the whole mesh. Then I'm going to select this edge again and then loop again, and then I will press chamfer, and this, bring the spinner up, take the segments down. That's the amount of segments, this one. Bring the spaces apart, and that creates these recesses here. As you can see, the recesses don't go all the way around. So what I'm going to do is kind of cheat and select these 3 and extrude it a bit here, like so. Just move this out a bit so you can see it. Okay, great. Now we're going to do these round cones. Go to geometry. We're going to use a cylinder. Cylinders are hollow. Actually, just scale that so it's a bit thinner. So again, we're going to use a cylinder. Not a cylinder, a tube. Tubes are hollow, okay. So you probably didn't see that in the 3D viewport, so I'll do it again. Tube. So left click drag, left click off. Take it to where you want the outside of the tube to be. Left click, then do the height. We can't see the height in that view, but there is the height already. Take it to where the post is. Like so. So we have a tube there. The tube is higher, so as it's still a primitive, we can use the spinners to make it higher. We can make it thinner. Just make it a bit thinner there. Probably needs to be a bit wider. So increase this here. And increase radius 2. It has, the sides are quite jaggedy, yeah? There's only got 18 sides at the moment. So to increase the resolution, the smoothness of the cylinder, we will increase the size to about 27. So there you go, that's the one of the tube elements on the lamppost. Okay. Make it flush with this. Still looking a bit wide perhaps. I'm going to make it a bit thinner and a bit longer. Perhaps that's too long, so increase it. Height segments, we don't need really many of these, so take them down to 1 segment. And then we can copy this up here. And copy it to there. These, you can see that these the traffic light covers have a section at the bottom. To make this, I will make a boolean, and there's a bit of a curve there as well. So I'm going to make a new shape. Straight. And you can see there's a curve there. So if you've not used Boolean before, Boolean fuses two objects, and it can subtract the object or you can add to the object. You'll see in a minute if you don't understand. As you can see, I'm not making a very high resolution curve here, because again, as I said earlier, always work to a low resolution in your meshes, and that way you can, to make them high resolution, you can copy them then and use the old resolution as the backup and then turbo smooth or add detail, but always start with a low poly mesh. Right. So make sure this is going around this object and the curve's going up here and the empty space is about where you want it. Again, it doesn't have to be accurate, amazingly accurate if it's an art piece, yeah? Right. Now, convert the tube to editable poly. Make sure this is editable poly. Make sure these edges are, nothing's overlapping here. Go to compound objects and go to Pro Boolean and start picking. Okay, roll over the object you want to include in the Boolean, which is this one we just made, and click. Okay, and because it's subtraction, it immediately subtracts the Boolean. Now, fair enough, there's a bit of unevenness here, but this is just a quick model, and we could detail this in later. So now you can copy this one down to the other ones. This one here is a bit bashed up, but these ones are all intact. So I'm going to work on this bashed up one in a minute, but before that I'm going to do these round spheres inside the light, inside the traffic lights. So again, all I'm just going to do is make a sphere. Find the sphere. Just way back here. I should actually move these meshes all the way back to where the objects are being made, which is near 0 coordinates. So every time we create something, we're not going to have to move them forwards. Right, so here's the sphere. Put it in there. Put it here. Convert it to editable poly. Get the side view. Left, left. Zoom into the side view. The side view, not the slide view. Select half of it. Delete it. It's always best to cap. I always think it's best to have closed objects, so cap it. And this is the round bit in the traffic light. Take that, scale that down so it'll fit in the cone. It's not a half circle, it's more like a lozenge shape. So scale it. Take it into perspective. Take it to the front, see if it's going to fit in. Wireframe, F3, scale it. Left, take it back. Perspective, F4. F3, sorry. Look inside to see what's happening, and then we've got the nice shape inside. Copy it down. Copy it down. And now you can see there's a nice bit of, even without it being lit, you can see the nice lozenge shape inside there. And if we wanted to add to this, we could make it glow later on and do some nice things with it. I'm going to group that, name it. I'm very lazy at naming names, by the way, so if you notice some of my names of objects are bad, then don't do it yourself. I'm going to ungroup this one because this is going to be this one here. The back one's going to be the largely intact one. So for this one, just this cone here, it's all bashed up. And obviously in real life everything is, not everything, I hope, but many things are squint and uneven and sometimes broken. So that adds to your realism. So the top one I'm going to convert back to an editable poly. I'm going to select the whole lot. Slice plane. Press slice here. Alright. And then I will select bits and pieces here. So what I'll do is select these two here, these two vertices here, these ones here, these ones here, and these ones here, and I'm just going to move them down a bit, just make them a bit bumped up. Move that down. Move that down. Move that down. And move that down. Let's see how that looks. When you're making things close up, as in real life art, always move back, look around it, see what it's like further away. That bit comes out a bit, so I'll probably take these two vertices, shift them back a bit. Just makes it look a bit bumpy, lumpy, right? I think I want to even make it even more distorted. So again, I'm going to take these vertices, and by the way, to select multiple vertices, you hold down Control. Yeah, let's distort it like that. Okay. Great, so we've got the intact one here now, and we've got this lumpy, bumpy one here. Whoops. If we move something by accident, just press Control Z, it automatically undoes the command. These are still pro booleans. I prefer to convert these to editable poly. And I'm going to group all of this. And remember to group the inside lozenge lamp shapes. Broken lamp. Probably spelled that wrong, I think. Okay, so now I've got the two lamps. And this is all the detail I need for this scene. If you're making a really detailed scene, you'd obviously add more detail using the different poly tools. And as you've seen in the primer and what I'm doing here, what you should do is take, look at what I'm doing or what other people are doing, and look at the basic editable poly tools. If you don't know how to use them that much, and then just play with them. Always save your work, and don't be afraid if you ruin something. You can start again or go back to your original save. So voila, there's the lamp. It's starting to look alright, isn't it? And we've got this bit here, and you might have seen in the time lapse earlier on that I did a speeded up one like this. So we convert it to editable poly. Select this face, bring the front dimension down. Bring this one down. Bring this in. And it's a round chamfered shape. Select the sides. And I want this face here to remain flat, so press chamfer now, expand the spinner, and you can see all the sides except for this front gets chamfered, and it's quite low poly, so you go to the edge segments and expand the edge segments to about 4. So as you can see, that's given a nice smooth boxes there. This is version 2014 in 3ds Max. If you're using 2015, which I'm starting to use at the moment, you can use Quad Chamfer. I'd recommend looking into that if you have Max 2015. It just makes the meshes a bit cleaner. So here's the face, and the face is, it looks as if the face has got a recess. So select this face, this polygon, and go to this command, inset, and click that, so we get the spinner overlay. And as you can see, you drag the spinner up, and it will inset on that polygon. It won't extrude, it will just go inside that polygon. To emphasize this, we can move round, and as you can see, nothing's happened on this edge. From this view, it's only taken the polygon in and created this border. And now to make the recess, we go to extrude, and you might be wondering, oh, extrude only does outwards, but it goes inwards as well, so you can do minus. So that makes a nifty little recess for the man, the green man. And there you go, that's the sign there. There's a few little details to do for this still. And I'll do these next. I'm just going to pause for now, have a break. You have a break too, if you want. Hello again. Just save this actually. Right. So after my short break, and hopefully yours, we have a few more things to do with the what's it called again? The traffic light. Okay, yeah. So zoom in. And in this instance, the pole of the traffic light has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's 8 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sides. I'm trying to think of the back. So what I want to do is go to the cylinder here. I can't select it because I'm in editable poly sub-object mode. So I'm going to select this. I'll also call this pillar. And let's go to see how many sides. At the moment it's got 18 sides, because usually we add sides to make it look smooth. But in this instance we're going to take down the sides. So it only has 8, as in the photo. Make this a bit of a larger radius, and you can see it's kind of tapered. It's larger at the bottom than at the top to a small degree. We'll take it to a left view, and to taper it I'll just take down the height segments. To taper it, convert the primitive to an editable poly again. Make sure your poly's selected. Go to the modifier list, which is here. Go down to taper. And here it comes up with the taper commands. So taper makes it the top goes outwards. If you make it go into minus, then it makes the top tapered inwards. And there's a slight taper there. Don't do it too much because it'll look weird, but if just do it slightly. That's what the success of making good 3D graphics is about. It's making small, subtle things that adds to the whole image. Right, so now that's tapered, I'm going to convert it back to an editable poly, and then go to perspective. Let's look at what's happening at the base of it. So the base is using the octagonal sides, but it's coming out here, a bit of a flange or something, and then it's extending. I'm not going to model this because we can draw this if we want in 2D. Always remember, actually delete this, if we're doing a sort of 2D project, we can add details in the 2 dimensions. Or actually, in fact, you can add it in post-production packages like Adobe After Effects if you really want to do things like that. So to do this, I'm just going to extrude here, right-click, scale, scale it out, scale it out a bit more. So now it suggests this area here. Take it down, then extrude again, and then scale. Let's have a look. So the dimensions of this is quite short here. Looks silly. Always think in dimensions, scale, things like that. If something looks odd, change it. Okay. So that's your pillar. Now we have to think of what else is going to be in the image. Are we going to include this stuff at the top? Or is this going to be drawn on when we draw? I think in this case I'm going to model some of these elements because I'm going to show you the slice tool. Let's go up here, select the whole element, scroll down here, slice plane has this nice yellow gizmo. Take it up to the top, slice, take it down, slice. Got another slice a bit lower down, take it down here, slice, take it down here, slice. Zoom in here, select polygon, select the circle here, extrude. But at the moment it's extruding upwards. This is because you need to use this here, extrude it by local polygon. So make that extrude out a bit. Okay, and then the same here. Extrude. And the clever thing is it should remember that measurement from the last extrude. Okay, so that's made a bit more detail there. Always try to take shortcuts where you can in 3D Studio Max or 3D generally, unless it's detrimental to the what you're making. And what I'm going to do is make these cylinders, but then use this cylinder for this top cylinder as well. So I'm going to go to the left view by pressing L. I'm going to create a cylinder, so it's going to be this one here. Perspective, orbit round, height segments, take them down. Let's take them down to 0 for this one. Reduce the radius a bit. Reduce the height a bit. Convert the primitive to a poly, editable poly. Drag to make it grey, so you can see it easily. Select as element, go to slice plane, drag it to here, slice. So that's created this bit, then drag it over to here, and again slice here. And as you can see, this is the same as this, so it's a component, and these components are generally similar. So you're going to make this component, but you'll easily copy it to the others. Again, select it again. Select this end bit here, and again extrude. And it's extruding weirdly, so you have to again select it by local polygon. Take that down a bit. Okay. Slightly recessed. So right click scale, take it in a bit. Okay. Comes out in a bump there. Select the end. Move it out a bit. Scale down. Now we're going to do this bit quickly. Select all sides, extrude, make sure it's extruding by local normal. This is recessed here a bit. So select all of these vertices. Actually, no, select the polygons, sorry. Right click, move, so you bring out the recess here. So that's your first component, and it's about the right dimension. Let's just check it. Probably needs to be longer. You can go back in and edit this later on, but the point of this tutorial is to show you the basic tools, and then as with 3D or most designy or art things, it takes a lot of what many people call tweaking. So the tweaking, takes the longest time, to edit things to exactly how you want it, and that involves a lot of moving things around, getting the dimensions right. As you saw in the time-lapse video, there'll be another time-lapse one like that later on when I'm tweaking. So there's your first bar. Move the TV screen down to the bar, or the green man screen. Whoops. Control Z. Okay. So that's great. So that's about in place. There's a kind of bar as a vertical bar. So get your cylinder, create another one nearby it, press F3, radius, perspective, F3, take it to there, make sure it goes into this bar here, increase the height, take down the radius a small amount, make sure it's still all inside the bar, just drag that so it's grey for now, take down the height. So there's the vertical bar. Call it vertical bar. Right. Then this bottom bar, hold down Shift, Z constraint, left click, place it there. Make an instance this time, yeah? Because if you have an instance, anything we change here will change with the one on the bottom, which is good because these components are exactly the same. Whereas this component is similar to this, but it's not an instance. So copy this up here, but just make this as a copy. So when you move these vertices, the ones you duplicated it from don't move. Move that into place a bit. Okay, and then the vertical bar, take that up, copy it, move that in, make sure that's fitting inside that. Increase the height until it comes out the other end. Get this bar, copy it, but make it an instance because it's an exact copy more or less of this one. So any changes, you will be able to change this one at the same time. Good. It's starting to look a bit more like the traffic lights, although admittedly this is far too long here. So what we do is we select this and bring it in. And as you can see, the bottom bar came in because it was an instance, and bring that in as well. These ones are actually even shorter than this one. So again, select, bring in. Select the lamp, bring in. Alright, so that's more or less made that, the lamppost. I mean, if this is still quite low polygon, let's show up by pressing F4, show the edged faces. So it's not amazingly high polygon, but always start with low polygon. And if you want to make it detailed, what you do is you go to, say for example, if you wanted to add more polygons to this screen, we can do things like go to Turbo Smooth, and you add the polygons here, it smooths it, and then we can convert it to an editable poly from there. We can also add polygons in the edit panel. We can tessellate and mesh smooth. As you can see, the polygons are a bit strange looking here. The new 3ds Max 2015 has quad chamfer on it. If you have that version, I'd recommend you looking at one of my tutorials on YouTube about that, and that could help you with that. And then, as I said, the top bar here is just a duplicate of these bars. So take that up, copy, take it down, take it into that, take it behind this bar. Make it a bit longer here. Delete these. Delete all these. Go to border, select the open border and cap it. Okay. You could also make it hollow like the tube, but I can add that hollow suggestion when I draw in 2D if I want to. again select the other side, select these, get rid of all these. Select the border and cap. So now you have the top bar here. Make it a bit longer. Get the pivot point in the center, rotate. Actually, the rotate's not in the center, you have to go back to do that. Rotate it. It's a bit too much rotation. Okay, like so. So there's your lamp, your traffic lights. What I prefer to do is to select it all, then make it black, because that's what I like, because I like it to be all uniform. I also like to join everything, so there are different ways you can do this, but what I do is I get my pillar and I just go to attach, just press OK there, and I attach all of this. Okay. So it's all starting to attach. And also, oh, it's made a duplicate, must have done that by accident. So attach, whoops, something's happened here, let's have a look. Okay. Oh well, sometimes we make mistakes, I don't know what that is. Anyway, we can get the element here and make a copy down there. Clone to element, not object, because that creates a new object. You can attach more of these elements here, so it's basically as one unit. And the good thing about attach is that if you want to take it off, take one of the elements off, each element's still there as a separate piece within inside the mesh, and if you want to create the object again, the separate object, you just do this, and then it's separate. So again, repeat, so you select the element within the model, shift, copy, clone to object. Okay, let's take that off, and I'll just continue attaching the rest here. So I will select this. Okay. Attach. Yes. And as you can see, it attaches everything. This will take a while, so I'm going to do this in my own time. And the next tutorial, we're still doing a bit of detailing. All I'm going to do is detailing this and then this road bollard thing. The rest is going to rely on lighting and textures. Perhaps a bit more detailing with some of these blocked out models. I'll do another time lapse of that. But as you can see in this tutorial, you've learned quite a lot of tools. You've learned chamfer, slice, inset, ways to edit the polys, sub poly, attach polys. Okay, so the next part of this, please take a break now because this is a logical time to do it. The next part is to make this orange fence thing. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye. So now we've done the lamp post. Now I'm going to start on this crash barrier thing. I think there's 20 vertical bars here. Let's quickly count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, there's 19 or 20 bars. It doesn't really make a huge difference if we're just doing an art project if we get some things wrong. So this is a curved bar. So I'm going to go to the left viewport. Just delete that for now. We can refer to the dimensions from the photo. Okay. I'm going to press G for grid because it helps me to model this. Go to command panel, go to shapes, go to line. Click, left click. Left click. Make sure it's straight. Left click, and then that goes down there, so that's left click. Okay, so now it's just a line. Now go to vertex, sorry. Go here and select these vertices. And I want you to chamfer, well, I'm going to chamfer them as well. So I'm going to go down here and chamfer. And that chamfers it once. So it's starting to make this round bit here. Whoops, made a mistake there. So chamfer, so that's chamfer 1, and select again and chamfer again. And that's sufficient for a curved line there. At the moment it's just a line. Admittedly it's a bit squint here, but it doesn't matter for this project. Go to modify. Actually, sorry. Go to modify and go to the enable in renderer, enable in viewport. So click on enable in renderer, enable in viewport. Okay, so now we can see the line, as it were. So increase the thickness, and we can make the line radial or rectangular. So rectangular will give you a rectangular look. Let's just put that into perspective. So that gives a rectangular look, but radial will make it into the radial look as like we want. Okay. Great. So that's now there. It's a bit jaggedy, so I'm going to do another chamfer. So go to vertex, select vertices, and chamfer again. So that's great. That makes it nice and smooth. The bar's a bit thick here. Go back. To here, thickness. Decrease the thickness a bit. Great. Select it. It's still a line. Right click. Convert to editable poly again. Select these parts, polygons. Hold down Shift, left click, drag right. Clone to element. So it creates a new element inside the object. Click on these ones here, these vertices at the top of the bar, and then pull them up to the top, like so. So as you can see, it's moved up here. There's a bit of, looks like there's a bit coming out here, but it's going to be so far away it's not worth editing for this project. As I said, always edit in the way you want the project. So if it doesn't require a lot of detail and accuracy, don't waste your time doing that, yeah? So select the element again, hold down Shift, left click, drag, and I think we said 19 or 20 of these bars. So clone to element, try to drag them evenly so they're a bit after this vertical line in the grid. So just repeat, like so. Great, and one more. Excellent, all done. So there you have the part of the mesh already done. As you can see from the photo reference, it has a vertical bar here. Again, we can duplicate part of the mesh, so we we select the top bits. Make sure you don't select any of the bars here, so just drag, left click, drag down, select here, left click, drag down, drag it down to here, release, clone to element again. Select vertices, drag your vertices to the end so it's flush here, and again this side as well, drag them so they're flush. Obviously these vertical bars don't go all the way down, so select all of these and then drag them up so they're flush with this bar here. And just for an extra bit of detailing, we have supports down here, and it looks like they're in a cross shape. Kind of tricky, because when we put these bollards together, the cross shape will overlap, but in this case I don't see it as too much of a problem. So go to top view, create a box, view it in the perspective, press P, right click, move, take it down to the bottom, oops, Control Z, moved it a bit out too far, move it in, take down the height, take down the height a bit more, the length of it's okay, looks about right. Oh, it's actually a bit too wide. Make that thinner. Then click, drag with the material. I still think it's a bit wide. I mean, in real life people might trip over it. When you're doing 3D things, again, also sometimes think about what it might be like in real life, meaning the structure of things or textures or lighting. And that can help you achieve believable results. Just reduce the height a bit. Drag in there. Go to top view. Rotate it so it's more diagonal. Pull that in so it's centered. Hold down Shift, rotate it so it's parallel with that. Select both of these, rotate them again so they're more straight. Right click, Shift click, copy, and then drag them here. Go to perspective, and now you've got the barriers with a nice support on the bottom. Select all of them. Just assign that grey material. Go to this bit here, click, choose a color so it'll be the same wireframe color. So you have this one element here, so call this barrier. It started off as a line, now it's an editable poly. So obviously we can attach these things. Attach, 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 attach. Just go to the left view because I can see that this is floating up in the air. So select this one here, take it down so it's flush, and select this, take it down so it's flush. Go to perspective view, and there you go. There's your barrier. Take the grid off. So we have the barrier and the lamppost. Okay, so these are fairly well edited. I might edit them a bit more, but what I'm going to show you now is how to get them back into the scene. So make sure this is called barrier, so it's named correctly so you know what it is. Even better, we could type orange barrier. Okay. And then this one is lamp complete. Okay. Oh, just realized that this is not all as one. So I'm just going to quickly select it all and group it for this occasion and just lights complete. So we've named the names. Make sure we save this scene so we can come back to it, or save it again as a plus so we have a backup. Now we go back to the last full scene we edited and we can see our nice blocky scene. Now what I'm going to do now is merge the lamppost and the bollards into the blocked out scene. So go up to here, import, merge, find the scene, detailing 2, that was the one we saved it at, press open, and then it will give you the 2 objects or the 2 groups that are in the scene. If there were more groups in the scene, it would show you, and you just select the groups that you want. So hold down Control and select both, press OK. Just click on Use Scene Material, and these objects should appear in a different place, because remember we moved them backwards. So select both of the objects, right click, whoops, move them up a bit, go back to your camera. Okay, so now you've got that, and you've got your nice bollard that's looking pretty big, and we can scale down the bollard. Because one thing to remember, when I made this scene, the scale and the perspective slightly distorted. But as it's not a computer game or a simulation or something, it's for an art piece, this doesn't matter. So we can start copying the bollards. Whoops. Not the bollards, the safety barriers. Like so. Rotate that around. Bring that down. Actually, they're quite long, aren't they? I think we might have to reduce the width, but I'll do that later. And then copy again. Pull them up so you can see the supports. It's kind of like there, and I'll take that out of the view. And then we take this here and we position our lamppost like so. So here you've discovered, hopefully you've learned some new poly editing tools, and you've discovered how to merge more detailed models into a blocked out scene. So that's great, and I'll stop there for this tutorial. And next, looking at my notes, we are going to do rendering and lighting setup and materials. And one thing to say about this model, this scene, when everything else is set up, and we'll go back to it and do a bit more modeling on it and add some more material, well, play around with the materials and the lighting, but that's again what we call tweaking, and you'll get a time-lapse video of this at the end of this 3D graphics chapter before we go into the 2D stage. Okay, well, thanks a lot, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.